Welcome CSE 200 to EX4. This is just a little in-between practice exercise before we start our next exercise. And it's the last thing we're going to do with precedence, and we're not going to do much with it. And all that I want you to do, just to go over the workflow for working in PythonAnywhere and making sure that we're backing up our console since we've had some glitchy things going on. One thing I'll do is in consoles here, I'm going to close out or kill any of my consoles as long as I'm done working on them. So I'm going to X out of this. And then I'm going to go back to databases, and I'm just going to start it fresh. So there's my precedence database, and I'm just going to run two queries on here. But before I do that, just to get our workflow, I want to go over here and go to Files, and then right-click, and open my files in a new tab. And in here, make sure you go into your databases directory. We're going to make two files. First, I'm going to make an SQL file for just my queries. Now, we're only going to do two queries, and they'll be really easy. I just want to make sure that we're in a practice of making our SQL file so I can see your queries as well. So I'm just going to call this EX4, and I'm just going to call it working code. That's it. And it's going to be .SQL. And I'll hit New File. And I'm going to put my queries in here right away. I'm just going to do my select all from precedence. And I'm also going to put my vice president's query in here. And that's all we're going to do is just look at the two tables. And we have to use the names that we used. And hopefully you did this one already. You did the EX3 foreign key exercise. That would help if you already did that. So I have these two queries ready to go. So I'm going to highlight from here, from my file in this tab, and then go back to my console and paste here and just show my president's table. And then I'm going to go back here and do this one. That's it, just two queries. Make sure they work, and that's it. And then I'm going to go back here. I'll just save this. Even though there's two lines, we'll still save it. And then I'm going to go back to my databases directory. I'm going to make another new file. I'm just going to call it EX4 underscore, and I'm just going to put console. You could put in caps or lowercase is fine. And this is going to be .txt. And this is going to be the one that we're going to copy our console into, so we have a backup of it. So we'll have our queries in our SQL file working code, and then we're going to have our console here, and then I can always get here to see it. You don't have to upload it or anything like that. So I'm going to go back here, and to copy this, I could just double click on this first line here. I get to highlight this first line if I want, and then scroll to the bottom, and then hold Shift, and just click. So just Shift click at the bottom, and that highlights everything, highlights all your code. And then you still have to copy it, so either do Control-C if you're on Windows or Command-C on Mac. And go back to the text file. Make sure you hit New File for this one. And now when you're in this EX4 console, you're going to paste all your text here, and it'll look just like it did in the console. All your stuff's here, and it's backed up. And then save it. And then that's all you have to do in here. You shouldn't have to do anything else in here. You could even leave your console open if you want. And then you're going to go back to coursework in My Warren, and you're going to go to this exercise, EX4 President's Backup Practice. That's all this is, just practice. And you're going to click in here, and you're going to add a comment, and you're going to say SQL file and text file is in PA. That's all you have to say, PythonAnywhere. And you could even say console is open. Even if it closes, at least I know you left it open. So that's just telling me that you have your SQL file, your working code, and that you have your console file. You don't even have to put console, you don't have to put working code. I'll know that your SQL is your working code and your TXT is your console file. That's all you have to do for this exercise, and just hit save. And then I'll just check it out when I see your comment, and I will go into here and just make sure that I see these files. I'll go into your databases, and I'll make sure that I see this text file for EX4. I'll make sure I see your working code, that it has your two queries in there. And if your console's open, I'll check it out and just kind of sign it at the bottom. I'll put a little comment down there and just put my initials on it, and then tell you you can kill it when you're done. And that's it. That's all you have to do for EX4. So I'm working on EX5 right now, but just in between, just so we get used to the workflow, so that you make sure that you back up your console work in a text file, and then also back up your queries in an SQL file, we should be fine. If there's any problems where this resets or I go in here and it's blank again. So we'll try to get in the habit of doing that. That's why I thought it might be nice to do this little practice exercise in between. So please try and do that, and then we'll move on to EX5.